What's up, super fans? It is Fit Nerd from Superheroes Ultimate, and this week Dark Phoenix is releasing and will be premiering everywhere nationwide. Since the entire week will be X-Men filled, I have a lot of my X-Men Marvel Legends that I want to open and unbox because I never even gotten a chance to actually open them up, and I have them. So this whole week we will be unboxing X-Men Legends figures. If you're new to this channel, then hit the subscribe button and hit the notifications button so you can stay updated in the here and now in the superhero world. And wanted to take a moment and give a big shout out to Performa with their cool gear with shaker cups, wristbands, all officially licensed, Star Wars, DC, Marvel, and so much more cool gear. Check out the description below and use code FITNERD15 and you will get 15% off your entire order. So I decided adding Deadpool Wave 2 only for the reason that 4 out of the 6 figures are X-Men related. First on the wave we have Omega Red. Alright, so Omega Red is actually one of the cool villains that I actually like from the X-Men. He's popped out quite a bit, especially with his past quarrels with Wolverine. He's got carbonated, like this high density carbon skin, so he's kind of indestructible. Kind of like Wolverine's bones, but his is actually his skin itself. This figure is freaking awesome. Look at this. Now this is one of the most familiar looks for Omega Red that we're all seeing in the animated series.
You cannot stop me. I can, you stinking octopus. Just like last time.
I gotta admit, his hair looks freaking awesome. Check out that hair. And some of you guys may not even know this, but he was actually in Deadpool 2. He was actually in the background. He actually pops up very briefly in one single scene.
It's Omega Red.
Omega Red?
Omega Red.
So he does bring more attachments in his tentacle things. So you can actually take off the smaller ones, these right here, and then put on these longer ones. So they just like click right in. And then you could have one that's about to come out, one that long one, or just have both of them. You just gotta pop it out. You can just change his tentacles. There we go. I gotta admit, he looks freaking awesome. Really can't wait to pose him down against Wolverine. And the Soviet villain comes with one leg for the Sauron Build-A-Figure. Next we have X-Men member Deadpool.
And I'm an X-Men.
Trainee!
Deadpool joins the X-Men. Alright, so here is the X-Men version of Deadpool. And why are these things like hanging down? Oh, they're part of the calves, I see. I'm not so sure how I feel about these things being so loose like this. I guess he needed more pouches. I really like the way the mask looks and his expression. Look at that, that's pretty cool. And of course he's got his double swords, not in the X fashion that they're used to. They're actually here on the side. You can take them out and you can hold them and whatnot, and you can pose them with them, which is pretty cool. I like the whole holder right here because you could actually remove it. And he does come with a couple accessories. Brings a sombrero, a gun, and another head. Now the head, the other one is a yellow version. So it's kind of like a mask, but it's not a mask. It's actually showing his face. Kind of creepy in a cool way though. Especially with that grin right there. Yeah. Alright, so once you put on the accessories, I still would prefer this one, obviously, because this is like typical Deadpool, and this is really what shows with this outfit. But if you put on the sombrero and give him the gun, He actually looks really silly. Gun poses in perfectly. The swords look awesome. I really like the katanas. I like the design. The mold itself looks really legit. Movement wise, let's try the butt kick. Very flexible. His legs really move really easily. Look at this. Even the thigh. Articulation is awesome. The figure overall is awesome. The sombrero doesn't work with the actual Deadpool head. It only works with this head only because it's completely round versus the other one has a little tiny tip right there. So the hat only works with this one right here. It doesn't actually work with anything else. And of course it does come with a Build-A-Figure part, which is the tail of Sauron. Deadpool and chill with underpants Deadpool. So let's Deadpool and chill. So this Deadpool is literally just Deadpool being Deadpool. So his hands are actually placed with the pinky up, one of his hands, kind of like a Dr. Evil thing. I do wish that the hand could actually just go like right under his chin. It only goes like right here. So it's kind of an awkward placement because his articulation isn't as good as actually the X-Men Deadpool one. X-Men Deadpool actually has better articulation, at least in the shoulder joints. It's much easier for it to move, and his legs are, I believe, are a little bit more beefier than X-Men Deadpool. Actually, yeah, they're about the same, but his articulation is much better than, well, Deadpool and chill. He's only got one sock. He's got his slippers on. I mean, he's ready to just Deadpool and chill. Exactly what it looks like. This figure is just silly Deadpool. This is as Deadpool as it gets. His mask is up. He's in his heart undies. He does come with two cool accessories. The accessories that he brings are this gun and this gun. And of course, a Deadpool figure is just incomplete without having some guns, even in his underwear. Except for this holster right here, I don't think that this actually can go in there at all. So that's kind of weird that he has just an empty slot there. I mean, I guess you could use it from another figure, probably the Nick Fury one. I could see that gun actually fitting in there, just for the heck of it. But other than that, I don't see the guns going anywhere else. And he does have this random hole right in the middle of his back, which I also am not sure what it's for. It's probably for one of the previous wave where he has a holster that can possibly go in here. Well, the sword holder. So I'm pretty sure that's what that's for, but it looks really random like that without anything. And the gun holster over here, empty. The two guns actually look really cool. Nice molds. Kind of looks like the Nerf rival, the Deadpool edition one, except this one's just plain all black. The Nerf one is actually all red and has a cool paint job. If this would actually have the logo right on it, that would have actually just been a little bit better in detail. Overall, figure is not bad. It's literally just a silly figure of Deadpool. And this figure is the one that brings the main piece of the Sauron Build-A-Figure, which is the Sauron torso. Next we have the Fierce X-23. Kenny, the daughter of Wolverine. This is the all-new Wolverine costume that we see from issue number 1, all new Wolverine, when she takes over the mantle of her father, Wolverine. She comes with the wing of the Build-A-Figure Sauron. So she has the claws on her feet, which typically I didn't even think that some of the figures actually do it. And people actually forget that she has claws coming out of in between her toes, just like she would up here. And like they tried to explain it in the Logan movie, it's basically because she is a female and females have it placed differently. Her wrists are actually pretty mobile. You can actually place them in. There you go. Like so. They do turn all the way. Articulation is a little bit clicky, like you snap it into certain spots. The belt is loose, which I actually like because it just makes it feel more natural, just hanging out there. Her arms are not really that mobile. They really just move up and down. When you open it out to the side, and it locks in. Actually, that looks pretty cool. I kind of like the part that it locks in, because most of her movements are always basically arms are out open and ready to slash, and I like the fact that they lock in over here at the wrist, because it looks like she's about to slash into something. Her hair actually looks pretty cool too. It gives it almost like an action shot there. So it looks like she's jumping in air, or most of the poses that I would see her in is actually just jumping into the middle of the air. You can remove the claws on the feet, but if you remove it, then it just leaves this hole here, which I'm not too fond of. So I'd rather just always just leave in the claws, just because it looks silly with just a hole there. Paint job wise, it looks really awesome. You could stand her in a really cool like fighting pose, like she's about to just whoop some ass. And she comes with an additional head mold, which is her unmasked with just a straight hair instead of that wavy look with the mask. So that's her unmasked, and it still looks pretty damn cool actually, having unmasked. She actually looks more threatening in my opinion without the mask. The mask just looks cool, and it could look like an action scene, but this one, she looks pissed off. She's about to like kill people right now with that look. Mobility in her legs, she can't really move up so much. And let's try the butt kick. The butt kick is actually pretty good, but articulation right here in the hip joint for some reason, she can't move back so much. And of course, X23 brings a piece of the Build-A-Figure, which this Sauron looks like it's gonna be a big Build-A-Figure. Look at the wing joint right here. You can actually move it. I guess you could close it in a little bit, or you can extend it even more to make that look. Watch out now, here comes Lady Deadpool.
Oh, don't rage quit now!
Alright, so Lady Deadpool. Alright, so we got her out of the package, and her hair is actually really mobile. Really flexible. It's just chilling. It does look much cooler now that it's out of the package. You can see a lot of detail and texture in her hair. I do like her mobility, and of course she hasn't popped up anywhere outside of the comic realm basically. I mean, she has popped up in Marvel Heroes, the video game. But other than that, she really doesn't pop up that much outside of the comic realm. Her belts are cool, and she's literally a female version of Deadpool. That's exactly what she is. She's from another Earth. Let's see her flexibility wise. Her hips, so she can't really, she only moves up and down on her hip. Her thigh is kind of tough, but the rest of it actually looks pretty cool, like out here. And let's give her the butt test. Not reaching all the way, but the figure itself looks really cool. Shoulders can move out, torso not bad. So Wanda Wilson instead of Wade Wilson is exact. Oh, she has this thing where they fall, like the X-Men one. I kind of didn't like that, but this I mean this makes sense, because Deadpool, or any Deadpool, it has to have pouches. Whether it's dog pool, kid pool, all pools need to have pouches. It is part of the Deadpool MO. It does come with 2 katanas, which are actually not bad. They're pretty cool molds. There you go. Very nice paint job. They look really cool. They're a little bit thinner than the other ones, I believe. Let's see, X-Men Deadpool. No, they're actually around the same exact thing. They're probably just the same exact mold and just change the coloring on the bottom of the hilt. Doesn't really have the sword holder, the holster for the swords. So basically you could just slip them right in here. I don't really care that it doesn't bring it. You can still X them out and place it right there, and it looks exactly the way it should. Fix her hair, going back. Her hair, just pretty much you can move it anywhere you want. And for accessories, she brings Headpool, which is exactly what it sounds like. It is Deadpool's zombified, just basically it's just his head. He has no body. I'd recommend reading Deadpool Corpse so you can see what Headpool is about. his little helicopter hat does actually move. It doesn't move quickly or anything, like you can't really spin it, but it does actually move, which is cool. And of course he doesn't have a body, so it brings this clear stand, which is a neat idea. So you have the clear stand to just hold him in place. So Lady Deadpool does look awesome. I wish she did bring guns because her things are empty all over the place, but she doesn't have placement to, she doesn't have any empty holsters or empty spots on those pouches to put any guns. So I kind of don't mind it as much because the swords look cool and the figure itself looks really awesome. I love the accessory of Headpool. That's my only little complaint, is just that I wish it brought at least one gun. And of course it brings the Build-A-Figure piece for Sauron, which is one of his legs. Overall figure, this one is definitely at least a 9 out of 10. I really like it. I am actually a fan of both Deadpool from Our Earth and this Deadpool. Last but not least, we have the time-traveling badass Bishop. Bishop is such an underutilized character in my opinion, and his backstory is actually really hardcore. I mean, he grew up basically in the mutant apocalypse, where humans were basically just kicking the crap and destroying all the humans and capturing them. And actually, if you guys always wondered about that tattoo right there on his face, which is an M, the M is actually for mutant. Like I said, look into his backstory. It is actually a pretty awesome storyline. Bishop is definitely an underutilized character. The only time we ever saw him besides this version of it, which is the one from the animated series of X-Men, which I truly love, and it's one of the best X-Men series ever.
Rogue, this is Bishop.
We did see him in Days of Future Past, but it was very brief and very underutilized. Bishop should have gotten a lot more attention in that movie versus Wolverine. I do understand that Wolverine was basically the main guy for Fox Studios to utilize. That was their biggest success, was the Wolverine character with Hugh Jackman. But when it came to Days of Future Past, Bishop should have been the main dude. I mean, they had a moment for him to shine, and it just wasn't used. So, this figure is awesome. This is awesome. I think this is definitely one of my favorite figures of this wave. Look at that badass 1990s hair right there. The detail on this is just amazing in this Bishop figure. He is a beefy dude though. He is a very beefy dude. The leg is kind of, oh well, you can just move the foot right out here. That's just me being OCD about stuff, but that looks awesome. And then he has a holster right here for that awesome gun that, of course, his powers, he takes in blasts and he could shoot them right back at you. His gun actually does the same exact thing. So the gun can go on either hand. You can see both actually have the trigger hand. Let me see how it fits on the back of the holster. Awesome. Let me see. Well, it would be this way, because if you reach his back, yep, that makes sense right there. That's how it goes. So the holster is awesome for the back. He's got his cool bandana right here, which is actually not stuck to him or painted. It's actually an actual piece. Let me see if it comes off. No, it doesn't come off, which I don't care if it does or doesn't. It should stay there. The belt is actually kind of loose, and that's okay too, because it makes it look more natural. This is a really awesome figure. Mobility wise and articulation, I mean, he has his shoulders that can move back and forth, and in this wave they really like these little loose pieces. I didn't even notice that the arms have these yellow bands on, but texture wise it does add to the detail, and it doesn't go flimsy like the Deadpool X-Men one, which I really, that was my only pet peeve, was those things that just were very too loose in my opinion. The figure itself, A+. Those little things in this at the bottom, I still am going to complain about them, but articulation wise, his arm can go all the way, shoulder can move all the way out. Legs, let's give him the butt test. So he doesn't have that much flexibility. He can only go up to right here. He doesn't even have a full 90. full 90 degrees here. Like, the figure just looks so awesome that it doesn't really need too much articulation. I do wish that this would match up a little bit more on the hip, because if you actually just move it here just to have him stand, that kind of bothers me. Placement for the gun itself, his trigger finger is actually perfectly fitted to go into this gun. His grip is perfectly fitted, and he has the trigger finger right there to go into the gun. So it's very secure, looks really cool when he's holding it. And he does come with a Build-A-Figure piece, which is the other Sauron arm. Alright, so we have all of the pieces for this Sauron figure. Let's build him up. Alright, so this is the Sauron figure. He is ginormous. He's huge. I mean, look at my hands. This is a ginormous freaking figure, and the detail in it is freaking awesome. I mean, the detail and the paint job, this Build-A-Figure is freaking rad. Again, this is a character that I totally, now that the MCU has acquired the rights to the X-Men again, I mean, these are all characters that I would love to see eventually. I mean, Sauron would be a whole storyline of his own with the entire X-Men going up against him. Look at this mobility in his beak, sort of. He has mobility in his neck, going back and forth. And down here as well, very slight. Right here. Mobility in his arms. He could basically just move them in like this, kind of do like a vampire thing going on. Because basically, well, he is a type of vampire. If you guys know from the animated series, basically he goes to mutants and absorbs their life energy. That's how he stays alive. So he is a type of vampire of sorts. But look at that detail. You can see all the reptilian dinosaur skin going on there. His hands just look great. This is just a freaking very, very awesome, solid Build-A-Figure. He is a bit flimsy at the waist right here, right at his torso, but everything else, I mean, it makes sense that you could just move him back and forth like that. Standing him, he doesn't even need that much work. Like, look, that's it. I thought since he's really top heavy, he would be weird and tough to balance. But check that out. He's not even, his tail isn't even on the ground. I thought you would need his tail to actually kind of like place it on the ground or something to place him. But look at that. Very well balanced character. Look at him, toes. Reptilian toes. Articulation in his feet. Articulation on his feet, move back and forth. Butt kick, I mean, obviously he doesn't go back so much. I mean, you really can't move, I guess because dinosaurs just don't do yoga. But he doesn't need so much mobility on his legs. This figure is freaking out of this world. I am in love with this figure right now. And I like the fact that you can close in the wings right here to make it a little bit smaller, almost like when he was about to turn back into a human, because he does have his human form and his, well, Sauron form. When he closes his beak, you could barely even see his teeth. And if you open them up, look at all that detail. It makes all the difference in the world. This is a rad, very awesome, solid Build-A-Figure. Love it. Alright fans, there you have it. Deadpool Wave 2 is a definite solid win. As far as all of the characters, all of the figures just being amazing in detail, and the molds themselves, they all are awesome. And some of the favorite characters like Bishop or Lady Deadpool, X-23, Omega Red, awesome villain, Trainee, X-Men, which I still hate those little things that are in his calves. That's the only pet peeve that I have out of this entire wave. That is literally the only thing. Head pull is even in here, and by the way, you can actually change the head to one of the other Deadpools, any other Deadpool figurine, including Lady Deadpool, so you can just change it and it'll be a fun time. If you super fans want to get your hands on some of these figurines from Marvel Legends Deadpool Wave 2, then check out the description below where you can go to our shop and get some of these figurines for yourself. Until the next, this is Fit Nerd, over and out. Hey superfans, unleash your inner superhero with these super compression shirts, tank tops, leggings, shorts, t-shirts, and even costumes. Link in the description below.
3, 2, 1, a